Hey there, Alexander Rankin, the Director and Lead Financial Advisor here at Artisan Wealth. We're a financial planning firm and we're about to be on the Prosperity Show. Stay tuned, you're in for a real treat. We're going to run through, some background on myself, some insight into the industry, and perhaps you might just pick up a few gold nuggets along the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. I'm your host, Prosper Taruvinga, and today we've got a special guest who's not just a financial guru, but he's also a gold panning hobbyist turned wedding ring craftsman and everything else in between. Now, Alex, how are you doing, my man?
Afternoon, Prosper. Doing really well, my friend. Thank you for that kind introduction.
We haven't even started yet. I mean, obviously, you know what we're going to be talking about is of a general nature, but hey, let's just get the legalese out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we'll go through quite a few, hypotheticals throughout this discussion. We may throw out some numbers, but it's just really important that everyone at home, yourself including Prosper, takes this as general advice only. We won't take into account anyone's personal circumstances, their needs or objectives. So it's going to be really important that anyone who listens, first of all, consults their advisor to make sure that anything we discuss is appropriate to them. Beautiful.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. Now that we've got the legalese out of the way, I mean, obviously, for those that are watching right now, thank you so much for tuning in to the Online Prosperity Show. And yes, I did mention he's a gold panner and he's also become a wedding ring craftsman. And yep, you heard that right. Our guest, Alexander Rankin, has spent nearly a decade in the financial services industry, and he's been helping people achieve their lifelong goals with impact and also with really good financial advice. So many people go at it in life. Apparently, 42% of Australians are not financially literate, and that could be the same number wherever you are right now. So it will be in your best interest to educate yourself, learn a little bit more about the way money actually works, and maybe you could actually learn how gold can save the day for you, and you can craft your own wedding ring in the process. But now, before you start seeing Alexander with a shovel and a pick, looking for gold out there, he actually goes from crunching numbers to landing a compassionate ear, because he understands with empathy that, this whole journey of money is not easy for a lot of people. And Alexander's journey is a perfect blend of his love for finance and also helping others. Well, let's just dive in. I don't mean into the creek where you're punting for gold, but hey, let's discover how Alexander turned his passion into a thriving career and how you can do and have a happier existence. Now, Alexander, I could go on and on talking about everything else, but we've waited a long time to get you on the show, from the time you were in your honeymoon and, the time we couldn't get in touch with you. Tell us a little bit about your background and what actually inspired you to get started with your own financial planning firm.
Absolutely. Thanks, Prosper. What an introduction. Hey, it's we've gone right down from the hobbies right into the professional side of things. So I'm excited to unpack a lot of that. So where's it all begun, I guess? We'll probably go all the way back to maybe high school even, when I was just figuring out what career path I wanted to go down. We had a careers counsellor who put us through one of those, aptitude tests or personality tests to see what exactly would make sense for you and where do you naturally gravitate to. There was no surprise that being on the numbers side of things, that was very strong and came through in a lot of my test results. But something that she also pointed out, which again, no surprise to me, was that in fact, dealing with people, listening to people, and something in the realm of almost a counselor was also going to be a really good fit. So I was left with a bit of a tough decision. I decided to start down the university route of the numbers side of things, looking at an accounting and finance degree. In the interim, throughout all this process, I was actually introduced to the industry of financial planning. And that's when I uncovered that this amazing industry is actually somewhat of a middle ground. It's where not only do you get to help people with their goals and help them achieve what it is they've set out to do in life, but you get to listen to perhaps some of their most biggest aspirations, some goals that they thought that perhaps they never share with anyone else. And at times you do have to feel a bit of a counselor role. Sometimes things go wrong in their lives. Sometimes they need to make a quick pivot. And them knowing that they've got you there to help and support them, that makes a massive, massive difference. So yeah, couldn't believe my luck. The two major passions and the two areas that I feel that I have a lot of I guess, natural love for, that they combined into this amazing industry that we call financial planning. So that's where the industry passion began. And then I thought, okay, we better dive into this. Let's get some experience. So whilst I was at uni, I went out looking for intern jobs. That intern job turned into part-time work, then into full-time work. And then I was managing the full-time study load with full-time work. But we got through it and we're here today and we haven't looked back.
Fantastic, and congratulations, my man. I mean, obviously, so many people, when they are faced with that decision, what should I do, or who am I becoming? Some people just leave it to chance or whatever comes first. But I'm glad you sort of found your stride, especially when it comes to counseling people and financial aid, because both of those things go hand in hand. But Alex, I just wanted to maybe find out what was the family like? You know what I mean? Since you said you only discovered that financial planning was a thing when you had already grown up. What was the family's attitude towards money?
Yeah, sure. I've always had very positive attitudes towards money. My father ran his own graphic design business, so I've always come from a bit of a small business background, and it was really cool to have him around growing up. He wasn't having to be locked away in an office, 9 to 5, never see him. He was around, and that kind of inspired me to think, hey, actually, small business perhaps is an area that I'd like to explore down in the future. And then obviously with that comes the need to manage money on that business scale and also on the family side of things. So fortunate that we've come from quite a good growing up.
Absolutely, because so many people don't have that opportunity to actually see money or have money discussed within the family sort of space. And when they then get the opportunity to earn some, they they literally want to scale back to where they were. Now, you obviously mentioned, while you were at uni from high school, you had that career as counselor and things like that. But before you launched Artisan Wealth, you had a sort of a rich career, experience in various sized sort of firms. First of all, what sort of roles were you doing within these firms, and how did these experiences shape, your approach to financial planning now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been quite fortunate to have, even though I appreciate I'm just at the very, very tip of the iceberg, just at the start in terms of building a really great career. But so far, it's been fantastic. I've had the real pleasure of working at a few different firms, ranging from very small boutique to your medium-sized firms, all the way up to some of your larger nationwide firms. Work with some amazing people, had some really great mentors and managers throughout. That exposure and that experience, I guess, go back to the gold panning. I've been able to find little gold nuggets at each firm that I've worked. I've been able to identify, okay, what really works with clients here? What do they really value? And what perhaps is something that I can take away from those learnings and implement in my own business? And almost equally, I think I've also learnt of what not to do. Some things that perhaps didn't quite work, or things that clients didn't feel there was value for them. So taking a lot of that data, I guess, and firsthand experience, and being able to really shape the service offering here at Artisan Wealth for our clients, that's been really valuable.
Absolutely. So from what I'm gathering, I mean, the environment that you obviously would have been brought up around, whether it's at home or it's at work, provided that really good soil for this seed to, sort of sprout. What were some of the key learnings before you even started your own business that you started and, sort of grasping around the people you were around, especially about money and how it all works?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's definitely been a few mentors and few guiding lights, as well as some really good literature that I've read over my time that's helped, I guess, form the way in which I provide advice and the way in which I look to help my clients. One of, I guess, the founding principles and something that I really focus on when working with clients is making very small changes in a lot of areas. I find slowly but surely having actionable and impactful recommendations for our clients that they can follow very easily, that compounds and that builds up. And before you know it, 5, 10 years down the track, you're well and truly on the way to achieving your goals. That approach, rather than a complete wipe down and rebuild, I find clients understand a lot better and they're more likely to actually follow through. That's something that we struggle with as an industry. Although you may give a really fantastic and recommendation that makes a lot of sense, if the client doesn't implement, or you're not able to help them understand or guide them through that process, it's just words on a page. You actually haven't made a difference.
Absolutely. I quite like that because even a raging river emanates from a small drop of water, it just starts
Spot on.
drip by drip. And then before you know it, it just, you know, grows into something huge. And I think that's the thing that people don't quite understand about money because wasn't it Einstein that said compounding is one of the eighth wonders of the world? If a lot of people knew about it, obviously the whole world will be a completely different place. Now, you've obviously now, established yourself and working with clients and people of that nature. What do people come to you mainly for?
Yeah, sure thing, Prosper. I find one of the things I love about financial planning as an industry and as a whole, just the vast, broad nature of it that can then also be really focused and drilled down into very specific areas. We assist clients with really anything in their life that has to do with money, perhaps maybe not even money. Maybe it's the direction they want to head in. Maybe it's sense checking. Maybe it's changing habits. Or we can go any which way and the other. We then, of course, have this boiled down into the actual deliverables and how we assist our clients, or like we like to say at the firm, the tools of our advice. We have a lot of clients who come to us perhaps because they want to explore certain options. Maybe, let's say, for example, they've just received an inheritance, which is always a very interesting area to work in because by nature of being an inheritance, they've lost somebody. So it's quite an emotional time for clients. So just being able to give them the guidance as well as the support that perhaps they need to show, okay, with these monies, we can do A, B, or C, or maybe a combination of them, and what that means for you and what you'll be able to get out of this in the future. We perhaps also have clients coming to us when maybe something's gone wrong. Maybe something's changed in their life. They've had a health event and maybe work isn't quite what it used to be anymore. And they come to us looking to solve a problem. And they say, this has happened in my life. Can you help me understand what my options are? And then, of course, one of the areas that I really enjoy working in is when there's been an exciting change in someone's life. maybe they've got a new child along the way. And so we want to make a bit of a plan to make sure we've got things like education costs, that's covered. We know what's going to happen when a child comes through to secondary school. Maybe they're buying their first house or upgrading their home. That's a really exciting space for us to work in. Just running through some of the numbers to show them perhaps, okay, what does this look like from a long-term perspective for you? If investment properties is something that's exciting for them, starting that conversation, connecting them with other professionals to help make this goal a reality. So it's as I think you can see, there's a lot that we can do, and it's important that you're getting really good guidance throughout.
Absolutely. I can only imagine, because when you get an inheritance, like you say, you haven't been the person that made that money, but you need to literally become the person that can keep that money, because half of the time it's like winning the lottery. A lot of people that win the lottery soon part with that purse, just simply because they're not at the same wavelength as what is needed for that money. And obviously, this is something that you may also come across, but you've worked with high net worth individuals and some sort of Australian families. Now, first of all, what do these guys have for breakfast?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all in the secret breakfast, Prosper, and in fact, it's a trade secret that I've been sworn not to release. So, no, they're no different to you or I. Often it's the space I worked exclusively in was medical specialists. Nowadays, however, I've come back to helping all families across Australia, no matter which walk of life. And something that I learned through that exposure was their passion for their career and their passion for what they do for work has led to them being so successful. And hence that opens the door to everyone. If you can follow your passion and do it really well, there really is nothing holding you back from being successful yourself.
Absolutely. I thought maybe Wheatbix had a certain formula or recipe that they send only to high net worth individuals that we don't know about, because seemingly those people just seem to be every year they're probably driving a new car or going on expensive holidays and things of that nature. And some people would just think, oh no, that's probably relegated to a certain type of people, not for us. So it's not in the breakfast then.
No, no, not at all.
Absolutely. Now, you did mention tools while you were talking a little bit earlier on, and it just reminded me of how sort of technologically advanced your firm has become. I mean, you've got a unique way of integrating technology and financial planning. I mean, can you elaborate how you're using technology to enhance, or your clients' experiences?
Yeah, absolutely, Prosper. And this is quite an important, I guess, area for us to explore, because there's still quite a stark difference between a lot of practitioners out in the industry nowadays. And I guess if there's anything I could share is just don't be afraid of technology. It's there to help you, help your firm, help your clients, and help making everyone's lives a lot easier. One of the founding values of Artisan Wealth is actually innovation. It's looking for ways in which we can provide efficiencies into our clients' lives to give them their time back and let them pursue what's important to them. So at Artisan Wealth, we look to employ technology in each and every process along the way. So we've actually established a client portal in which we interact with our clients, and we're able to securely share data from them to our systems and our systems to them. We then use this portal to feed directly into our planning software, which allows us to run comparisons, create projections, compare different funds or different insurances. It's a way which saves the clients a lot of time, because they only ever have to enter information once. And once it's entered correctly. It completely removes the potential keying errors or the potential human factor into a lot of the process. And we can have confidence that the data we're dealing with is clean and it is correct. We then make sure that we're available for our clients each and any way that they require. A big part of that is, like what we're doing today, online meetings. meeting with a client when it's appropriate to them and where it's appropriate to them, delivering our advice digitally. That way the clients can take it away, take their time, do a deep dive, keyword search in the document, things like this, really get involved in the advice. And then it comes all the way through to the actual applications and implementations using digital signing and a way to really minimize the time that the clients need to spend going through forms or filling things out. It's been a massive difference and a big, very well received from a lot of our clients.
Can only imagine because, like you said, if somebody has just inherited the money, this is the first time they're probably having to deal with, or maybe even, putting their signature to a paper. So there's going to be a need for that. Obviously, yes, the efficiency of technology, but also the human aspect to it. You see, in my eyes or in my mind, Alexander, I have this picture of a financial planner with glasses all the way down here, with filing cabinets behind the scenes, something that looks like a typewriter, and then they're just, questioning, your own existence, in front of them. But you seem to be a very personable guy. I mean, you've managed to blend, being a numbers guy to being a people's person as well. How do you actually maintain this balance in your work, knowing what you know about the profession?
Yeah, thanks, Prosper. That's yeah, no glasses. I've kept those off, and we've got fish tanks instead of filing cabinets, so it's a bit more exciting over here. Yeah, that's a really good question. And in fact, interestingly, I almost had to come back to this personality. To give you a little bit of context, when I was in my earlier years in the industry, applying for a new role at a firm as an advisor, you may or may not pick up here, I'm quite a relaxed guy, and sometimes that comes through as a little bit too nonchalant or perhaps not as stiff upper lip as you'd expect in some of those stereotypes. And I actually had feedback from one of the firms that I wasn't formal enough, and that shook me a little bit. And I actually went through a little bit of a transformation and put on a fake personality and was really uptight and very formal, suit and tie, the whole works, and it just wasn't working. Clients weren't clicking with me. They could feel it straight away, and I could feel it. I wasn't being my true personal self. So I read this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. On the title, it sounds like, oh, this is some sales tactic way to trick people. But if you've read the book, it's all about being kind to people. It's about listening, and it's actually about being yourself. And that really took the shackles off. It was just a eureka moment. I was like, you know what? That is not my personality. I like getting to know people. I like essentially becoming friends with my clients. For me, that's really important. And I feel that shines through now in the firm and the way in which we deliver advice to our clients. And it's just been like night and day. Yeah, that you can tell clients feel quite comfortable in meetings. There's no, I guess, judgment or anything like that. It's very much so a relaxed space where we can talk, I guess you'd use the word safely, around money. It's been a real change in the way in which we do things around here, and I love it.
I like that because I don't think anyone is really responding to that top down, look that so many other, dinosaur professions seemingly have. And right now, the person who's coming to you has got money. Sometimes they actually have more money than you do, and it's just a matter of having to understand their standpoint and being human about it, and showing them, what's the best use of their newfound wealth if they've just sort of really gotten in there. And obviously with that sort of demeanor and new personality, maybe you can share with that specific names and details, just maybe a success story where your personality and financial planning actually made a significant impact to a client's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And the success stories, look, that's why we do it. It's that's what gets me out of bed in the morning and logging into the computer is being able to share with clients in those moments. Probably one that comes to mind was a young couple that I was assisting with their financial planning and trying to help them get into their first home. They'd spoken with a few advisors and they'd been turned away at every opportunity simply because the advisor saw that they're wanting to use this money for a deposit, they're not wanting to invest it. That's not the way that we do work here. We have set engagements, and it doesn't matter what the advice is, hence meaning the recommendations are always going to be in their best interests. So I was able to take them on as a client, and we operated under a fee-for-service model, and we were able to put together a strategy which protected their deposit, helped it grow a little bit in preparation for the purchase of their first home, and then was actually able to act as a bit of a second pair of ears or a second pair of eyes to help them through the buying process. And now, of course, we can't help them find a property or locate the areas in which they're wanting to buy. You've got buyers advocates who work in that space and they're fantastic, but we're able to help them understand what the process is. What does it mean to go to an auction? What does it mean when you actually put in a bid? What are some things for you to consider, and continue to connect them to professionals all along the way? When they finally got that home and the hammer fell, it was exciting times for them, and hence very exciting times for me. So that was just a really good feel-good moment.
Absolutely. I can only imagine, because the thing, like I said, the stat says 42% of people are financially illiterate. So this young couple would have obviously had Auntie Sally at every barbecue, who's not even good with money herself, sitting at the corner of the table going, do this, use your money like this, go on Afterpay or whatever it is they have these days. And I can only imagine you hand holding them and obviously directing them would have been a very good outcome, and kudos to you for having done that for them. Now, Alexander, if people are looking for that sort of concierge service that you seemingly offer, and the secret to breakfast, for the rich, what is the best way that people can get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely, Prosper. And tying back to that technology point, it's in any way which is comfortable for the clients. You can jump on our website, artisanwealth.com.au, jump on social media. We're quite active there. We're always giving away some free tips and tricks and just some things for people to look out for. Give me an email or shoot me a text message. Really, it's any way in which you feel comfortable, reach out to us. We'll meet you there.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes below. And obviously, they would have to catch you while you're not on your expeditions, right? Because we had a hard time trying to pin you down. You were on your honeymoon, and the other time you said you were, punning for gold? Is that the new thing now?
The gold panning, we've been able to put a little bit of pause in that one. So this wedding ring here, we collected the gold for that, which was really exciting. But I'm always out and about camping and just really getting into the outdoors. It's kind of where Artisan Wealth came from. Bit of an artisan. I love my hobbies. I love just seeing what life has to offer and jumping in and giving it a go.
Absolutely. Okay, so fantastic. I think it settles the score, because first of all, you got the girl and you got the ring. Now you ditch the hobby. Is that how it worked out?
No, I still get out there and pan a little bit here and there, but it's very much so onto a new hobby, add to the repertoire. I'm a little bit hobby obsessed.
Absolutely. I quite like this. And also, I mean, speaking of, the ring in and of itself, and who you've become, from what I've gathered, I mean, your wife has played a pivotal role in your journey. How important has her support been in your success?
Yeah, absolutely, Prosper. Yeah, this one's close to home, and it was on the recent transition from going from just a PAYG employed advisor to actually branching out and starting the firm. It's no matter what anyone tells you, it's a scary time. It is a massive decision, and it's extremely exciting. But obviously, there's a lot of question marks, a lot of unknowns. So there's always a little bit of self doubt. You're a bit scared of the things that you perhaps haven't done before. But I remember one day came home from the office and just said to my wife Sophie, I said, "Hey, look, I think I want to start my own firm." And she just looked at me and said, "Hey, can you do it?" I said yes, and she said, "Well, done. Let's do it." And she's backed me ever since. Like honestly, no word of doubt from her. She believes in me like 100%, and I'm pretty lucky to have her.
Absolutely. Let me tell you something, man. In our world as spouses, if you've got somebody who trusts you fully, you're willing to go to the ends of the earth just to work, and achieve that, success that you look for in your endeavors. And yeah, now I want us to do something here, Alexander. I mean, I don't think maybe you've done it enough. If you could look straight in the camera there and maybe give Sophie a couple of words and tell her something that you probably never told her before. I know you just came from your honeymoon, but if you could say something to her right now, what would you say?
Oh, so I love you so much. You're my absolute rock. I'm so glad we found each other. I'm really excited to see the life that we build together.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Sophie. I mean, obviously, you're the person behind all of this. That's the reason why this man has been panning for gold and now helping lives be, do, and have a happier existence. And I can't thank you enough for the time that we spent on the call today. And I mean, obviously, we've known each other for a while, but today I learned a couple of things that you probably wouldn't have said if we hadn't got the camera in front of you. But Alexander, for the viewer, let's just close this loop a little bit. You started off as a high school student, that went to a career counselor, and you were given options, and somebody sort of had a small belief in your work, and here we are today. If you would have been that career counselor, older Alexander that you are today, and younger Alexander pops into your little store, what sort of advice would you have wanted to hear at that particular moment, knowing what you now know about life and who you've become?
Yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting one. It would certainly have to be, don't be afraid to be yourself, lean into your strengths, follow that voice inside you that says take care of people, and follow that dream and passion of helping people. That's going to really, I guess, put you in a good position to progress through life. So just be yourself and follow your passions.
Fantastic. I mean, there's no truer words have ever been spoken, and I can't wait to see what's in store. And speaking of which, what can people expect now that you've brought us into your world and we're all excited about, Alexander and Artisan? What's in store? What's next?
Yeah, absolutely. The firm's going from strength to strength. So we're going to be around. We're going to be around for a long time. So keep watching this space. Some big things to come.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and valuable insights with us today, Alex. I mean, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Prosper. I really appreciate it, mate. Have a great day.
Great stuff. It was well worth the wait. Now, for our viewers, if you have ambitious life goals and you need impactful financial advice, I think Alex is the person for you. As you have established, he is true to his word, and he's not just going to be looking at you as yet another wallet that he can add to his endeavors or to his client list. I think he's the guy that you need to reach out to. As you heard how he helped that couple who seemingly had bad advice or bad people or bad influence, and he actually gave them something that was more suitable to their circumstances. So be sure to follow him on his socials, and also go onto his website. I'll make sure that those links are in the show notes below. And if you enjoyed this episode, I want you to type in the words gold. Not only has Alexander become a gold punter and also a gold enthusiast, but just gold, in as much as there were so many golden nuggets in this episode today. We can't go into details because obviously everybody has different situations and circumstances, but just type in the word gold. Maybe Alexander will pick a few that he might just maybe reach out to and maybe see how you can work together. And if this is not for you, you might have a friend or a relative that's going through stuff or just gotten an inheritance. Just share this episode with them. Maybe they might find what they're looking for in Alexander and the team at Artisan Wealth. Until next time, stay prosperous and bye for now.